Born on November 24, 1974, in Carenage, a coastal village in northwestern Trinidad, Machel Jesus Montano came into a world already dancing to the infectious pulse of calypso and soca. His early years were unassuming. Typical island childhood with sunshine, sea breeze, and music around every corner. But the fire in Machel was far from ordinary. By the time his family relocated to Siparia in Trinidad's southwest, the young Montano's talent was already flickering bright. His musical foundation was laid at Siparia Boys R.C. school, and later at Presentation College, San Fernando. There, under the guidance of the nurturing Mrs. Cynthia Lee-Mack, Machel sang in the school choir. But even before puberty hit, destiny had already begun calling, and he answered with a microphone in his hand. The year was 1984. At just 9 years old, while most boys were busy trading marbles and riding bicycles, Machel recorded a track that would become a soca classic, Too Young to Soca. The song became a national hit and declared Machel not just a child star, but a prodigy. From there, things escalated rapidly. Machel, alongside his brother Marcus and neighborhood friends, formed a band called Panasonic Express. Imagine a group of pre-teens playing with the skill and flair of grown men. It was astonishing. The group would later evolve into the mighty Ecstatic in 1989, laying the groundwork for what would become a cultural movement. In 1986, at just 11 years old, Montano took the stage on the American talent show Star Search. Dressed in island flair and bringing a magnetic energy, he wowed audiences. The world outside the Caribbean had just begun to hear the tremors of what Machel Montano was destined to become. By 1987, Machel was already a fixture in Trinidad's music competitions. That year, he entered the National Songwriters Festival and took home second place with Dream Girl. 1 year later, in 1988, he journeyed to Barbados for the Caribbean Song Festival. He didn't just participate, he made history. Machel became the youngest and first Trinidadian to ever win the title. The Caribbean had a new crowned prince, and he wasn't even old enough to drive. As the 1990s rolled in, Machel didn't let his early success become a memory. He built on it. Ecstatic became a dominant force in the Caribbean soca scene. By the mid-90s, they had become synonymous with energy, innovation, and boundary-breaking performances. 1997 was a hallmark year. Ecstatic dropped Big Truck, an explosive anthem that took the streets by storm and clinched the coveted Trinidad and Tobago Road March title. The win cemented Machel as a leader of the new soca vanguard. His performances, unmatched, wild, sweaty, acrobatic, and electrifying. Machel wasn't just singing, he was baptizing crowds in soca. Whether jumping off speakers or crowd surfing, his sets were a full-body experience. Fans didn't just hear the music, they felt it. In 2007, Machel decided to evolve once again. He rebranded himself and his band as Machel Montano HD, a nod to a high-definition, upgraded experience. This was more than marketing. It was a declaration of dominance. The HD movement marked a new era of unmatched production, tighter songwriting, and international collaborations. Machel became more than a soca artist. He was now a global ambassador for the genre. Songs like Band of the Year with Patrice Roberts, 2006, Jumbie, 2007, Mr. Fat, 2012, Like Our Boss, 2015, and Soca Kingdom featuring Super Blue, 2018, became not just hits, but mantras for carnival revelers. With each Road March title, 10 in total, he pushed the limits of what soca could be. Montano didn't stop at the Caribbean shores. He went global, working with Beanie Man, Sean Paul, Shaggy, Major Lazer, and even Pitbull. His 1998 single Toro Toro, featuring Shaggy, charted in the UK. One Wine, a steamy trio with Sean Paul and Major Lazer, charted in the US in 2014. His song Ministry of Road won a Soul Train Award for Best International Performance. That was 2 years after his countryman Bunji Garlin won the same category. Soca was officially recognized at an international level, and Machel was leading the charge. He also hosted the BBC Radio 1 Extra's International Sounds of Soca alongside DJ Slick for 4 years, bringing Caribbean beats to listeners worldwide. In 2016, Machel Montano stepped into a new realm, cinema. He starred in the romantic musical Bazodi, playing a soca singer who falls in love with a businessman's daughter. Shot entirely in Trinidad and Tobago, it was a celebration of culture, music, and the island's scenic beauty. Then came his autobiographical documentary, Machel Montano, Journey of a Soca King, in 2017, a deep dive into his life's evolution. The film became a blueprint for how to sustain relevance, legacy, and passion across decades, personal life and purpose. For someone so public, Machel managed to keep much of his personal life away from the media frenzy. But in 2020, on the most romantic day of the year, February 14th, he made headlines again, this time for love. Machel married his longtime sweetheart Renee Butcher in a stunning ceremony held at the Red House, Trinidad and Tobago's historic Parliament building. It was a wedding fit for a king, elegant, symbolic, and deeply personal. The couple have 3 children, Melanie, Nicholas, and Maya Journey. While Machel is tight-lipped about his family life, it's clear that fatherhood and love are central pillars in his world. In between carnival runs and studio sessions, Montano has pursued academia, earning a master's degree in carnival studies from the University of Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, you read that right. The man behind Fast Wine is also a scholar of the very culture he helped shape: honors, awards, and immortality. Montano's mantle is stacked with accolades. Beyond his Road March and Soca Monarch titles, he's been recognized nationally and globally. In 2018, he was awarded an honorary Doctorate of Arts by the University of Trinidad and Tobago, a fitting tribute for someone whose life is a living curriculum on Caribbean culture. In 2022, he was bestowed with the Hummingbird Gold Medal, one of Trinidad and Tobago's highest civilian honors. It was not just a celebration of his musical contributions, but a formal acknowledgement of his role in preserving and exporting the soul of a nation, a living legend. As of 2025, Machel Montano remains not just relevant, but revolutionary. He is the bridge between generations, respected by the old guard, revered by the new wave. Young soca artists like Naila Blackman, Voice, and Keys Diefenthaler often credit Machel as both inspiration and mentor. Whether it's performing at Madison Square Garden or jamming on the Savannah stage, Machel's presence commands awe. Soca's sonic Superman. Machel Montano's story is not just about soca. It's about what happens when raw talent meets tireless discipline, when a boy refuses to be boxed in by age, borders, or expectations. From Too Young to Soca Kingdom, from child prodigy to carnival king, Machel Montano has etched his name in the Caribbean's cultural DNA. Please subscribe.